guys, it's Savannah again from Florida Atlantic University's Harbor Branch Oceanographic Institute in Fort Pierce. You guys might remember me from a couple of the other videos about sharks and dolphins, and if you haven't gotten a chance to watch those videos, make sure to go back on the Virtual Club's archive and take a look. Today, I'm here to talk to you guys about another one of our friends in the ocean, the manatee. Just like the dolphins that we learned about in the last video, manatees are also marine mammals, or mammals that live in the ocean. They're part of a group called Sirenia. That's a word that also means enchanting mermaids. This is because a long time ago, sailors used to mistake these animals for the mythical creature, the mermaid. There are 4 types of Sirenians that are found all around the world: the Amazonian manatee, the African manatee, the dugong, and the West Indian manatee, which lives here in Florida. Now it's time for a pop quiz. Can you guess what the manatee's closest living relative is? We have A, a whale, B, an elephant, C, a cow, or D, a seal. That's a tricky question. While many people call manatees sea cows, their closest relative is actually B, an elephant. So they really should be called sea elephants, right? Manatees can be as old as 60 years old. They can grow around 10 feet in length, and they weigh around 1,000 pounds. These animals love to snack all day. In fact, they like to eat about 15% of their body weight every single day. That's around 150 pounds of food every day. Manatees are herbivores, which means they're vegetarians, or they only eat plants. One of their favorite foods is seagrass. That's a special type of underwater plant. When they eat it, they act like a lawnmower, and they clip off the tops of the seagrass blades. This leaves the rest of the plant behind to keep growing. Since manatees spend most of their time munching on seagrass, they have to have very special teeth to help them break down those plants. Let's take a look at our manatee's skull. If we turn it upside down, we can see these blocky teeth. These are called molars. You and I have molars too. They're in the back of our mouths, and they're specially designed for chewing. Manatees' molars will wear down and they'll fall out over time. That's okay though, because these animals will continue to replace those teeth throughout their lives. Scientists call manatees' teeth marching molars. That's because as the old ones in the front fall out, the new ones will pop up in the back and march forward. Manatees also have very dense, heavy bones. This helps them sink to the bottom of the water and eat their food. Let's take a look at a manatee's rib bone. You guys can see that it's pretty thick, and I'll tell you right now, it's kind of heavy. We can compare it to the dolphin's rib bone. Even though the dolphin rib bone is a little bit longer, it's much thinner and a lot lighter. A lot of people think that manatees are really fat, but they actually don't have a lot of fat in their bodies. They look so big because their bones are so big, and they have a pretty big stomach to store all that food. Manatees also have really large lungs. That helps them take deep breaths and hold their breath for a long time. Manatees can hold their breath for up to 20 minutes at a time. So if you're ever out looking for a manatee, make sure you stay in one spot just for a little while in case a manatee is under the water holding his breath. Also, make sure you listen really carefully. A lot of times you'll hear a manatee before you even see one. That's because when a manatee comes to the surface of the water to take a breath, they first have to clear out the water from their nose. That can make a sound when they come up to breathe. FAU Harbor Branch, we study manatees, and we're really fortunate because these animals love to hang out on our campus. We see the most manatees in the winter time. Here's a picture of a chilly winter morning on our campus. Look at all those manatees. We've seen about 100 manatees right in our channel in one day. Our researchers take this opportunity to learn about these animals. Every time we see a manatee, we try to snap a picture of its back and its tail, also called a paddle. That's because throughout a manatee's life, they get different bumps and scrapes and scratches that leave marks on their skin. That can help us identify them. No two manatees have the exact same back. Just like our fingerprints are unique to us as humans, and dolphins' dorsal fins are unique to them, like we learned about in the last video. Our researchers have been able to identify hundreds of manatees this way, and we've learned a lot about them. Since a manatee can travel about 30 miles in a day, we make sure to share our information with other research groups around Florida's coast that also look at manatees. In return, they'll share their data with us. Then we can take all of this information and we can learn things about where the manatees travel during the year and certain things about their behavior. Manatees do a lot of different things throughout the day. Here are some of the observations that we've seen and the behaviors that we've seen manatees doing. The first is called surface resting, which is when a manatee relaxes and floats around with their back sticking out of the water. The second is mudding, which happens during the winter time when a manatee drops down to the lagoon floor and rolls around so that they can cover their body with a layer of mud to help them keep warm. Third is feeding. Like we talked about earlier, besides seagrass, some manatees can be spotted eating leaves from plants that grow near the water, like mangroves. Manatees also spend a lot of their time socializing. Besides chirps, they often communicate through touch, just like people. The next is traveling. That's when manatees are on the go and they can reach their top speed of 15 miles per hour. Finally, they do drinking. Manatees have to drink fresh water because they don't get it from their diet the way other ocean mammals do. Check out this video of some manatees drinking fresh water from a pipe on our campus. Manatees do some other behaviors like bottom resting, which is hard for us to see. That's where they sink to the bottom of the water and take a nap. Remember, they can do this pretty easily because of their dense, heavy bones. Even though they're under the water, we can still study these animals. Our scientists use hydrophones, which are special types of microphones that can pick up sounds under the water. When we record these noises, we can then learn about how the manatees are communicating with each other. Now, most of the sounds that we've recorded have been when mom manatees and their baby manatees are talking to each other. Do you guys want to hear what that sounds like? Isn't that cute? Manatees are really special animals, and for a long time, they were on the endangered species list. That means there weren't a lot of them in the wild. Fortunately, a lot of people worked very hard to help protect these animals, and in 2017, scientists recorded that the manatee population had increased enough to take it off the endangered species list. That's pretty amazing. Do you guys want to know what you can do to help continue to protect our manatees? Well, we have 3 tips for you today. First, make sure you throw away your trash so that it doesn't end up in our environment and hurt our animals, like our manatees. Second, if you're ever out on a boat, make sure your driver is being very safe and is watching out for manatees. And third, make sure you share some of this really cool information you learned today about manatees with your friends and your family so they can learn about these animals too. I hope you enjoyed our lesson today. If you want to learn more about manatees and science, make sure to come visit us at FAU Harbor Branch. Check out our website for more information and to stay up to date on when we will be reopening.